A Tangle of Spells. Episode 2, Bubble Trouble. It was a bright summer's day. I was following a pathway through the woods. I was searching for the Buttercup Bakery, run by Fairy Berry. I'll show you my sketchbook to explain the story. I had been out walking in the woods when I discovered some tiny clothing fluttering in the breeze. They had changed colour right in front of my eyes. That was when I met Mossy the Fairy, who runs the lavender laundry. He told me that there'd been a spell mix-up. Instead of getting his bubble spell to make his clothes extra sparkling clean, he had been given a colour-changing spell meant for Fairy Berry's cakes. I needed to find the Buttercup Bakery and tell Fairy Berry about the mix-up, otherwise her cakes would erupt with bubbles. And I also needed to send Flip back to Mossy so he could fix his mistake. I pulled out my map of the fairy woods. I could see that the Buttercup Bakery was not far away. Mossy had told me that the Buttercup Bakery was where an oak and hazel tree grow together, just past the wheat field. Sure enough, I was soon walking along the path towards a field of golden wheat. I left the path and turned off into the woods. What was that? I realised it was a bubble floating through the woodland. Oh no, Fairy Berry must have already used the spell on her cakes. More and more bubbles were floating through the woodlands. It was too late. What could I do? I called out, "Fairy Berry, are you there?" No reply. I decided to wait. So I put away my camera and took out my sketchbook and began to draw. And that was when something magical happened. As I sat sketching the surrounding woodlands, I heard a funny little sound coming from just above me. A whoo sound. I looked up to see none other than Flipply Glenfern, the Spellmaker Fairy. He was sitting on a branch, holding something in his hand. As I watched, he put it to his lips, gave a big whoo, and out came a stream of bubbles. "What are you doing, Flip?" I called up, watching the bubbles sail past me. "I'm blowing bubbles while I wait for Fairy Berry's cakes to cook," he said. "So it's not her cakes that are making the bubbles," I said. "It's you." "Of course it's me," said Flip. "Why would Fairy Berry's cakes be making bubbles?" "Because you mixed up the spells for Fairy Berry and Mossy at the lavender laundry. Now all Mossy's washing is changing colour." "Oh," said Flip, looking dismayed. "Oh no, I must go and fix Mossy's laundry. Can you tell Fairy Berry before she uses the spell, please? The Buttercup Bakery is just over there." Flip handed me his bubble wand, and then he sped off through the trees on silvery wings. Now all I needed to do was find Fairy Berry. I hoped that I was on the right path. Then up ahead of me I spotted an old oak tree growing right next to a hazel tree, and I knew I was in the right place. I hope you'll join me next time in the fairy woods. This episode was brought to you by the hazel tree.